Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Right into the first article, Japan's lawmakers urge government to collaborate with U.S. to tackle the digital yuan. Ever since China announced its intention to launch the digital representation of yuan, multiple countries are contemplating the idea of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. Japan is one such country, with the Asian nation deliberating the use of a digital yen to compete with the digital yuan. According to a group of ruling party lawmakers, Japan should prepare to issue digital currencies, with the subject possibly cropping up over this year's G7 meetings. According to reports, the proposal urges the government to cooperate with the United States to share information and conduct technical studies on cryptocurrencies. This proposal is expected to be submitted to the government by next week, noted Akira Amari, a prominent member of the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP. Amari, who is the former economy minister of Japan, said, "We live in a stable world led by dollar settlement. How should we respond if such a foundation collapses and if China's move gives rise to a struggle for currency supremacy?" Amari continued to push the idea of collaborating with the United States. He added, "As part of such efforts, we should ask the United States to set digital currency on G7 agenda as chair." Despite its bold ambitions, it can be argued that Japan is not yet equipped technologically or legally to launch a digital currency anytime soon. However, China's efforts towards the same have worried many in the island country. Certain lawmakers in Japan expect the digital yuan to be used extensively among emerging economies, while also threatening the USD dominance. This economically will hurt Japan, as it largely depends on dollar-based settlement. The race for launching a centrally backed digital currency, the CBDC, began with Facebook's Libra. Libra was unable to take off, however, and was scrutinized by world regulators. However, China took inspiration from the Libra project and decided to accelerate its own plans to develop a digital yuan. While Japan has been making preventative measures and had undertaken a joint research project with the European Central Bank, Japan publicly still maintains its position of not wanting to issue a CBDC anytime soon. We do know that from the BIS, Cambodia has great success, and many other countries are creating them. Some are gold-backed, and we did learn that the Facebook is actually under a major investigation because of its leak of data, and that's why Libra is having a major hurdle at this point from being released. But we did hear from the community of crypto and digital asset, digital currency, that because Libra came out, it moved everything about 3 years ahead of schedule, as stated in the crypto sphere. So all of this news, in my opinion, is great news. Next article, crypto goes IPO. Ripple could lead the blockchain industry's charge, as Ripple is expected to have its IPO before the end of year for 2020. 2020 could be the year that crypto companies step forward and take the plunge into going public, as the biggest players in the industry cautiously watch for opportunities to gain regulatory approval. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse used the prestigious Davos World Economic Forum summit to announce that the firm was considering an initial public offering later on in the year. Crypto companies looking to go public face a paradox. Financial firms often have to meet stringent regulatory standards. Failing to adequately reassure regulators can result in companies being frozen out of lucrative markets or forced to shut down altogether. But simply leaping to the other end of the spectrum and attempting as much integration with the financial mainstream as possible is not as easy as it sounds. Many investors in mainstream financial companies are reluctant to take on high level of risk associated with crypto or don't understand digital currencies at all. Nonetheless, there are notable exceptions, and many of the world's financial titans are experimenting both with blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. A global race is on to develop central bank digital currencies. The world's biggest tech companies are also working on ambitious stablecoin schemes that would change the world of payments as we know it. The ideas are there, but the companies are struggling to get off the ground. Not even the titans of the industry have been able to go public. Bitmain, once thought as practically untouchable with a self-valuation of over 1 billion USD, had several failed attempts at an IPO before succumbing to vicious infighting between the two founders. But it can be done. Pro-crypto Silvergate Bank launched on the New York Stock Exchange on November 7th. Canaan, long considered the underdog in the battle for top spot with its Chinese mining rival Bitmain, limped across the finish line in late November last year. With these companies leading the charge, Ripple is clearly not far behind. Davos is widely considered one of the most important gatherings of the world's financial and political elite, criticized by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson as a place where billionaires quaff champagne. The International Summit attracts decision-makers from all four corners of the globe. In a talk at the World Economic Forum sponsored by Ripple, Garlinghouse opined that IPOs will be more prevalent in both the crypto and blockchain space in the coming year. More importantly, the CEO also strongly hinted that Ripple itself would be one such company daring to go public in 2020. In the next 12 months, you'll see IPOs in the crypto blockchain space. And we're not going to be the first and we're not going to be the last, but I expect us to be on the leading side. It's a natural evolution for our company. Founded in 2012, Ripple has since grown into a crypto heavyweight, regardless of how the cryptocurrency XRP has fared. The company eked out its existence prior to the pre-boom years and survived 2018's so-called crypto winter. While the timing of Garlinghouse's comments has piqued interest from analysts, the markets have not moved as much as some have anticipated. Bethel Lowe, macro strategist at Think Markets, explained to Cointelegraph that this was not altogether that surprising. Price action was largely unimpressed by the news, given this wasn't the first time Garlinghouse had hinted at a potential IPO. There was a bit of chop. It was nothing out of the ordinary in terms of Ripple volatility. And some of us have known they were searching for IPO for many years, so I only saw this as a possible good thing, not anything bad, because it had been in the plans for a long time. But why now? All tentative launch proposals must navigate the treacherous crypto markets, and Ripple's potential IPO was no different. Elias Simos, senior analyst at Decentral Park Capital, told Cointelegraph that Ripple is likely anticipating an improvement of market conditions, in which it forecasts increased demand for XRP, along with improved company equity value. We are at the early innings of a new bull market, where at the same time last year, we had just concluded a brutal bear market. The perceptions that come with each phase of the cycle favor the current condition more. A bull market also means more volume, and with it, possibly more demand for the XRP token, and possibly a boost in the equity value of the company. After all, a bunch of Ripple's revenues comes from what they call pragmatic sales of XRP, which is effectively selling the XRP token to crypto exchanges. But Ripple's routine sell-offs are not the only source of funding. Throughout the course of the company's existence, it has attracted some powerful backers. Andreessen Horowitz, Peter Thiel, Lightspeed Venture Partners, and Google Ventures are all invested in the first 2 years. As 2014 drew to a close, the company reported further investments of $32 million USD with CME Group. Seagate Technology, and Banco Santander UK, all participating in the deal. According to an analysis published by Blockchain and Crypto Research from Masari, funding is still flowing freely as of December 2019. There's a chart on the screen if you're unable to view. You can check that back later if you're interested. As always, the links will be in the description below. The company announced that it had raised $200 million USD in a Series C round that reportedly valued the company at $10 billion USD. While the company's ability to consistently raise money despite wildly fluctuating market conditions is commendable. It's worth noting that each round also adds to the long list of investors eagerly awaiting a return on investment. For CMOS, this is likely to have played a role in inching toward a public offering. They have a lot of private investors that would like to see liquidity, I am sure. Don't forget, Ripple is one of the oldest companies in blockchain, with the first funding round having taken place in 2012. Considering an IPO 8 years in for a successful company that is past Series C is almost expected. The past decade has been explosive for the tech industry. Consequently, companies such as the ride-hailing app Uber and workplace solutions company WeWork have witnessed exponential growth and usage around the world. Many other companies have followed in their footsteps, focusing on growth and establishing a market-dominating brand. But pursuing an IPO means that companies have to disclose the true state of their finances. The growth-first philosophy clearly isn't working for investors who, after all, are seeking a profit. If Uber and WeWork manage to alienate investors, even with a global supply of use cases under their belts, the stakes are higher still for crypto companies. According to CMOS, the recent spate of high-profile public offerings taking place over the past few years has been the culmination of a long coming-of-age period for tech unicorns of the 2010s. While this means future tech IPOs will need to have financials that stand up to serious scrutiny, CMOS also added that the 2020 investment environment is likely to be less cautious than that of 2019. Last year was a big reckoning for the early 2010s cohort of unicorns that were brought up under the incubation of private markets, he went on to add. It seems that public market investors are not buying the grow first, ask questions about profit later philosophy, and it shows. That, together with the fact that the Ubers and Lyft's IPOs were mispriced, led to lackluster IPOs. Also, all of this was happening at a time where investors had tilted to a risk-off approach. In the face of a trade war with China, etc., so naturally the demand for riskier tech growth stocks was low. 2020 is a different circumstance. I think we're over the hangover from WeWork and company, and appetite for risk growth has returned. What does this mean for XRP prices? There is an element of tribalism to cryptocurrency due in part to the ideological conviction that cryptocurrency is the key to creating a better financial future. Each token often develops a large community of like-minded investors. XRP is no different. As crypto Twitter was stuffed with analysis over Garlinghouse's IPO announcement and what this might mean for those holding the token. While XRP fans might be keen to pump up any momentum for the token to increase its values, CMOS is not convinced that the price is set to soar anytime soon. Aside from a possible speculative run that will likely be short-lived, I don't expect much to change. XRP is one of the large cap tokens with the poorest fundamentals, little to no utility, and theoretically uncapped inflation, and that Ripple could just decide to print more XRP. CMOS outlined his view to Cointelegraph that XRP is unlikely to experience a price hike in the event of an IPO due to the deflationary nature of the cryptocurrency. XRP is actually deflationary. A little XRP is meant to be burned as transaction fees every time it trades. Thus, more transactions lead to more deflation in most cases across the life cycle of a crypto. It has been very hard to reconcile token and equity as value accrual vehicles. If a for-profit company and not a foundation is involved in the organization structure, most companies actually choose to drive value more to the equity than to the token, to the detriment of the token holders. Lowe explained to Cointelegraph that an IPO could fundamentally alter how Ripple is traded by investors, theorizing that the cryptocurrency could be treated similarly to stock rather than a digital token. While being under the watchful eye of the SEC, regulation, depending on where Ripple floats, could significantly decrease the risk premium associated with weak governance or poor oversight measures. Effectively, Ripple is likely to be treated more as a stock and less as cryptocurrency, and so should exhibit lower volatility parameters. Indeed, an IPO could see XRP price adjustments closely pegged to the utility of revenue generating capacity of Ripple, not dissimilar to the revenue of EBITDA line of a stock. There's no clear-cut response to the question of whether IPOs are the best route for crypto-related companies, beyond the struggles many companies would face in demonstrating adequately robust financial results, let alone having business models that stand up to regulatory requirements. Public offerings simply don't make sense for all cryptocurrencies. Decentral's Park Simmons told Cointelegraph that depending on the nature of the crypto-related business activities, some are inherently better suited for an IPO than others. For those that have no token exposure, e.g. the miners, going the IPO route is and has been the only way to access public market liquidity. On the contrary, for protocol-based organizations, e.g. Maker DAO, it's almost impossible to go the equity route due to non-profit foundation structures, etc. For Lowe, the IPO issue is more nuanced than it being a matter of individual business suitability. The fallout since 2017 boom has lingered long in the public consciousness, and consequent news of the market's volatility only serves to further erode investor confidence in cryptocurrencies. Lowe outlined his belief to Cointelegraph that cryptocurrencies are best viewed as a long game, with little chance of predicting the outcome at such any early stage. Until comprehension of the utility of all various blockchain functions truly percolates, the wider public going down the IPO path will be an extremely difficult and tricky journey, especially given the capitulation of the 2017 bubble seems to still be fresh in the minds of many. For Ripple, while an improvement on a relic of the banking system that is the SWIFT network is ostensibly appealing, investors will still need more than just hype to pull them away from the unabated highs of global tech stocks. As market analysts herald the arrival of the latest bull run, companies are rushing to capitalize on the favorable conditions, and for good reason. If Garlinghouse follows through on his public offering hint, a successful IPO would give Ripple a degree of authenticity that most other cryptocurrencies' current companies are not yet able to obtain. This in turn could bring about greater demand for XRP, driving up prices and creating further use cases. A successful public offering would also be a logical development for the company, given the ever-growing list of investors seeking their share of the profit. But recent events have shown that investors are not impressed by tech companies that do not actually make a profit. The developing nature of the cryptocurrency industry, along with the volatility of the markets, don't help crypto companies balance their books or gain investor confidence. Whether Ripple can produce the robust financials to please prospective buyers or can adequately divorce itself from criticism of XRP remains to be seen. And I would probably say there's good information in that article, but there's a lot of FUD in my opinion. XRP rally signals massive potential upcoming movement for Stellar XLM. I thought this was a good article because it mentioned XRP and Stellar as they have always moved together. After a year of losses for XRP and heavy selling pressure in 2019, the new year has been great for the coin. Ripple's XRP managed to surpass important price levels, and the digital asset is currently racing towards 30 cents. At the moment of writing this article, XRP is trading in the green, and the coin is priced at 28.3675. XRP's recent bullish movement may be a sign that XLM is about to see an upside. According to the online publication News BTC, XLM is also trading in the green today, and the coin is priced at 7 cents. It's been reported that an analyst noted that the crypto seems to be exiting an accumulation phase that lasted for about 8 months, and this could be followed by a massive upside. The online publication mentioned above notes that trader Smokey, who is a prominent crypto analyst on Twitter, explained in a recent tweet that he is patiently awaiting for another pop. More than that, he also noted that he does believe that crypto is going to drop from here. Does not believe that crypto is going to drop from here. XRP consolidating ATM on both pairs. BTC pair seems to be forming a bullish C-fork ATM, and the USD pair is stuck around the 28 cent weekly level. Just going to keep my longs open and wait for the pop. I don't see it dumping from here, in my opinion, he explained. A few days ago, it's been reported that XRP has been rallying lately, and it pushed through downtrend resistance. The coin is potentially ready to reclaim its former highs. News BTC observed that XRP is recapturing the 200-day moving average, and the online publication wrote that upside targets could reach as high as $14 if the rally rises similarly to the last break of downtrend resistance. After BTC managed to hit 10,000 this week, the massive price moves are expected in the crypto space. We're going to finish off this video with a statement by Tony Robbins. Goals are like magnets. They'll attract the things that make them come true. Again, this is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Wishing you guys the best of days, and we'll catch you in the next one.